Yesterday, Blizzard announced some huge changes coming to Hearthstone with the Year of the Mammoth, which is going to be the 2017 series of Standard Play. For those of you who aren't as aware as maybe other people are, the standard rotation means that every year we're going to see these sets that are over 2 years old rotate out of play. So this time around we're not going to be playing with League of Explorers, Blackrock Mountain, or the other one, Grand Tournament. There you go, it came to me eventually. So basically those sets are rotating out with the new set that's going to be released, I'm guessing around April, because that's when it was last year. And that means that we're going to get a couple of other changes as well. Some people are a bit upset about this, but I think for the most part this is actually a really good change to the game. We want it to stay fresh, we want to keep having reasons to build new decks, and I think that means that the Hall of Fame set, which is what they announced in their recent blog post, is actually really healthy for the game. I'm also almost upset that they didn't go a bit further with it. So basically, for those who aren't caught up, the Hall of Fame set means that 6 cards, which used to be considered classic, are going to get recategorized, and that means that they're not going to be played in standard anymore. These are cards that maybe caused a lot of sameness in the game, and they were basically played in a lot of different decks and you didn't really see much variety. So they're cards that I'm going to admit I do really enjoy playing, but probably for the longevity and healthiness of the game it's good that they are rotated out right now. So Azure Drake, Sylvanas, Ragnaros are the neutral cards that are going to get rotated out, and Ice Lance, Conceal and Power Overwhelming are the class cards that are getting rotated out. I'm almost upset that they didn't find more cards to rotate out. We're going to be seeing a lot of classic cards still in 2017. But I guess this is some kind of nice middle ground. It gets to keep their vision of keeping those cards which make Hearthstone feel like a Warcraft game, I guess, in there. It keeps like the flavour of each class. It keeps it familiar for those who haven't played for a while, but it also gives something to the people who wanted to see the whole classic and basic set rotated out, like people like Brian Kibler, for example. So I think this is a good change. I'm going to be sad to see Sylvanas go, but don't worry, because even if you have the card, they're not going to even give you a full dust refund. They're actually just going to give you the full value of the card in dust, and you can keep the card for Wild. So it both upholds the legitimacy of Wild as a format, but it also makes you feel good if you also just play Standard for the most part, which I think a lot of people do. This is a nice middle ground. I think this is fine, and I'm happy with this change. We're not going to be seeing any more adventures anymore, at least for the time being, and we're going to get 3 130 card-ish expansions coming in 2017. So one in about April time, one in the middle of the year, and one at the end of the year. This means that legendaries are going to be harder to get, because obviously you're not going to be just given 5 for buying the adventures, but at the same time a good way to think about this might be, this actually makes it better for budget players if they print a lot of good budget cards. So what happened in the past was, and I think a lot of people who watch my budget decks know this, a lot of good cards came out in adventures that were common, but really they weren't common because they were trapped behind that 700 gold paywall, or in some cases the 3,500 gold paywall, and all I had to do was just suck this up and deal with it, because it was just a matter of fact with the game, and without that you won't be able to really make many decks. But now people will be able to craft all of the cards that they want to, provided they aren't all legendary and epic. So let's hope that they do keep thinking about the budget players and make it reasonable. Give us a good few interesting cards at common and rare. I guess this is something to keep an eye on in future, and we can moan about it if they do just make it a bit too expensive in future. And of course, because I didn't cover this early in the week, nerfs to Small Time Buccaneer and Spirit Claws are coming. Nerfs to Small Time Buccaneer are welcome. I think 1 health is what it probably should have been to begin with, and I think it's still going to be good in a couple of select few decks, but it's not going to be overpowered. And of course Spirit Claws is probably going to be a bit obsolete now, but did Shaman really need Spirit Claws? I'd argue that it didn't need to be printed in the first place. 2 mana for Spirit Claws, no one's probably going to play that anymore, I think, so they'll probably just play something like the Tunnel Trog aggro version in its old kind of form, and let's be honest, that was also really good, so I don't think Shaman has anything to worry about. So there's a quick rundown of all of the changes that are coming to Hearthstone in the next couple of months. What do you think? Do you feel a bit cheated by the Hall of Fame set? Are you a bit sad about the adventures? Obviously we're still going to get, I forgot to mention this, still going to get some single player things coming alongside the expansions, but are you a bit worried that you are going to be a bit locked out of legendaries if you are a budget player? Be sure to let me know, and of course, tell me everything you think about it. Hit like on this video if you did enjoy it. It really helps me out quite a bit. And of course, if you want to see more Hearthstone and Overwatch and other gaming stuff, be sure to hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.